Hey, what's up, everyone out there in Facebook and YouTube land? This is Rick Brown. I'm here with you on Rick Brown Live. It's Friday at 3, so we're here. So I just wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping here real quick. If you have not liked the Rick Brown Live Facebook page, if you would take a minute to do that, I'd really appreciate it. Also, we will be, or we are, will be. Oh my gosh, I got so used to saying that. We now are on live on YouTube as well. So you can find Rick Brown Live, the YouTube channel, and subscribe to us there. Also, I'm hoping at some point to also add some other videos to that YouTube channel besides just our live stuff, but I think it'll be fun. Anyway, we are glad you are here with us, and we're going to have a good show today. Today, I have a very, very, very special guest. She is an amazing person, and she is beautiful and amazing and wonderful, but she just has a horrible, horrible taste in men. She is my wife, Jill Brown. Hello there. And everyone, it is her birthday today. She is now officially 29.
And holding.
And holding. We have our Trent Burton.
Thank
Says
you,
happy
Trent.
birthday. Hi, Trent. Hey, he's watching on YouTube. Yay! You're the best. We got a pretty good show. We are going to talk about our favorite sci-fi shows. So I'm really excited about that. I try to choose topics based on Trent says you don't have Facebook at work. We're glad that you found a loophole to be able to still watch us. I'm excited. Anyway, we try to find topics that fit the guests pretty well. Like last week we had Jesse Flood, and we're both really into 80s music, so that worked out really well. And so we were talking about what we were going to do between Jill and I, and it seemed like the thing that made the most sense was doing our top 5 favorite sci-fi TV shows. Now, it has to be TV shows. We're not talking about movies. We're not talking
Right.
about books or anything like that. These are just TV shows. And I'm curious. We don't know what each other's lists are. I don't want to know what hers is in advance, and I didn't want her to know what mine was in advance. So I wanted us to have a pretty good conversation about that. But both of us really like sci-fi. We are.
We're showing our inner nerd today.
Yeah, we're showing our inner nerd. Anyway, so with all that said, let's get to it. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? I forgot to ask you that before we got on.
I'll go first. I want to talk a little bit about how I made my list.
Okay.
Because last night when I was trying to make sure I didn't leave anything out. So I went through and looked at like the listing on IMDb of their sci-fi shows, and there's like 5,000 of them. And I quickly realized that if I did all the shows that they included in the genre, that I had way more than 5. So I decided to limit myself to things that I consider to be truly sci-fi and not fantasy.
Okay.
So like I left out, like I didn't include things like Highlander and, that I love, but I'm strictly doing what I consider to be science fiction.
Okay. I did something similar because I started to put Game of Thrones on my list,
Mm-hmm.
and I decided that wasn't sci-fi, so I took it off. So I was going to mention it at some point. So I had a very similar thought process.
Good.
One of these might be a little iffy. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. But
All right.
I had trouble limiting mine as well. But I tried to pick, my criteria was these were shows that like were must watch shows for me, at least at some point, or shows that I could watch over and over again, I guess.
Right. Well, and I have some honorable mentions, which I think we'll do later.
Yeah.
But my number 5 is Eureka.
Eureka. Okay.
I've been watching the last season just this week, and it reminded me how much I love this show. Um, it is, it's got all the things I really like in a science fiction show. It's got humor. It's got really quirky characters. It has a good bad guys, and it has this sort of everyman that's not the brilliant scientist that you want to root for. That he ends up really being the smartest person in the room, even though he doesn't have the IQ that everyone else does.
Didn't we start to watch that together and then we stopped for some reason? And I don't know. I don't remember why.
I think so. And then I ended up watching the rest of it
I
myself.
don't remember what I didn't like about it. I don't remember why I didn't like it because
I don't either,
hmm,
but I love that show. I'm
maybe
down to the last 1.5 episodes to watch.
maybe I need to give it another shot.
Maybe.
Also, before we go on, I want to say something because I'm going to pull pictures up of my shows. I'm going to try anyway. And when we tested this before, if I pull up the picture and cover the whole screen, for some reason it totally mutes Jill, and I don't want to do that. Although there are some times in life I'm just
Hey,
ready to do that. I'm just kidding. But sorry, I cracked myself up. So, um, so I'm going to pull it up on my side, and then it will still let me talk because the software is a little weird, and then that should still let Jill talk too, but it might cut it off in a weird way.
okay.
So my number 5, I have a feeling this is on your list as well, but probably higher.
Okay.
My number 5, I gotta. Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yes, it is on my list.
I assumed so. Good show. I don't know what else really to say about this one. I don't know what a couple of these I'm not sure what to say about. Like this one, I mean, it's a good show. I like the characters a lot. I don't want if I say too much, it's going to give away later one. That's why I'm having trouble struggling what to say here.
Well, see, for me, it's number 3 on my list. And for me, what I like about it, as opposed to some of the other iterations of Star Trek, it may be the time period of my life when I watched it, but again, I loved the humor. I loved, like, when Whoopi Goldberg was on, those were some of my favorite episodes. And some of the episodes of that series I thought were better than some of the movies that got made later. I mean, the original Borg episodes of that were incredible. When they take
Kind of agree with
Picard.
that. See, I had trouble being a big original Star Trek fan.
Mhm.
What when they first said they were going to make it, I was like, so are they going to ruin my show?
Yeah.
And I really, and it came out in a time in my life when I wasn't really watching a lot of TV anyway. So I kind of jumped into it late. And then once I did, it grew on me. And then I really liked it. And then I've gone back since and kind of rewatched it all. But yeah, I think it's a really good show.
Yay.
So what is your number 4?
My number 4 is Quantum Leap.
That's on my list of honorable mentions.
I loved that show. And part of it is I love the actor that is the main character. I mean, I've watched him pretty much in every show he's been in. I still watch him now in NCIS New Orleans. But there are certain episodes of that were so poignant. And then there were episodes that were hysterically funny. Like when he would jump back and be a woman. But they managed to, I think what I like about it best is they managed to communicate history, which I'm a huge history buff.
Right.
And so I love that he was able to jump back into historical events and you could see it through his eyes. And so it was a great way to see history.
That's another show that kind of was on during a period where I didn't watch a lot of TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when it was on, I just didn't really get it. I didn't really understand. You know what I mean? And now that I've watched it later, as an older person, I I appreciate it more. It's a show I think I wish I would have watched more, but I didn't.
Now, see, I
Um,
love time travel anyway. Time travel
right?
shows.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, I love Outlander and all that, but I had on my honorable mention, I had 7 Days,
I've
which
never
was
heard of that.
7 days they didn't have a long run, but that person was able to jump back 7 days from that date, so they could only affect the last 7 days, and it was another one of those time travel things that I really enjoyed.
Yeah,